Weekends here, guys. Keith at Crypto Bullseye, and I promised you one thing: an altcoin marathon. This is going to be the biggest altcoin video that I've done so far. This is the request, and I promised each and every single one of you, every single comment in YouTube, every single request in Discord, I'm going to cover it on a marathon video on Saturday. This is what I'm left with, guys. This is the list, and that's what I've let myself in for. So the marathon starts here, guys. But first and foremost, we need to understand what needs to happen with Bitcoin, what needs to happen with the dollar, what needs to happen with Ethereum, what needs to happen with the stock market. There's a bigger picture at play, guys. Altcoins are at strong support. It's time to wake up and pay attention. Right, okay, firstly, it is the biggest altcoin request that I've done so far, guys. There's so many charts for me to analyze that I've had to bring a couple of little friends in there. I've brought in the Lux Algo, and I've also brought in the 3 moving averages. Anyone that's been on this channel, guys, know exactly what I mean by the 3 moving averages. Everybody on the channel knows exactly what I mean by the traffic light system. But I'm going to explain it anyway, guys, to the people that are new here. You've got 3 moving averages. You can see the green one here, that's the 200. You've got the yellow, which is the 50. You've got the red, which is the 20. So you've got the 200, you've got the 50, and you've got the 20. How can you use these things to your advantage, guys? Let's stick them in. I just want to explain this briefly. Now I'll show you on the chart exactly what happens to price when these things play out in the right way. So you've got your yellow, that's the 50 period moving average. Then you've got the green. Let's make this green for consistency. It's your 200 period moving average. Then you've got the red, which is the 20 period moving average. So you've got red 20, you've got yellow 50, and you've got green, which is the 200. Now, one thing that you need to understand, guys, is 200 moving average is a representation of 200 candles on whatever time frame, averaged out over a period of time, and it creates this consistent average line. You can see the 200 is slower paced, 50 is faster, the 20 is the fast paced moving average, because that's only averaged out over 20 candles, so it moves a lot quicker. You can get an indication, you can get an example of exactly what happens when these things come into this order. We'll go through, we'll have a look. You can see here, guys. So this is the point here where the red crosses over the 200, the red crosses over the 50, then the green comes underneath as the 50 period crosses above it. What happens to price at this point, guys? That's what they call a golden cross, the 50 and the 200 crossover. Now, the back of the golden cross, price action comes back and it holds these levels of support until, guys, when you're above the 200 moving average, you're bullish. When you're below the 200 moving average, you're bearish. Resistance, 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 resistance. Then we crack through. We want this to come back and we need it to hold support. So that's what we're looking for on Bitcoin, guys. That's how you can use the 3 moving averages. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Bitcoin looks like it needs to pull back. Where does Bitcoin need to pull back to, guys? It's at resistance here. It needs to pull back and it needs to hold the 200 period moving average. That's sat at 90,000. 90,000 is going to be a key psychological number with this previous resistance point here. So we want to come back. We want to hold 90,000. Are we overbought? Are we oversold? You can see stochastics telling us we're overbought. So if we pull back, guys, into the oversold region, this pulls back here, holds this 200 moving average, then expect another leg up to the upside. And we're getting close, guys, to where all-time highs were. We're getting close to getting up to the 100,000 mark. So it is a pullback. Get a bit of weight behind the pullback, guys. Give the bulls a bit of momentum. Give the buyers a bit of power. And then we can really try and accelerate and try and reach new all-time highs. So we are dictated by Bitcoin, but I'm going to jump into the altcoin request, and we're going to go over a few of those first before we talk about the dollar, before we talk about the stock market, before we talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum is going to be one of the front runners for the market that's going to indicate alt season. So all of the requests here, guys, I haven't looked into these, haven't looked into the market cap. These are just your requests. I'm going to show you exactly what happens on the chart, what I'm looking for on the chart, and you can do your own research to find out exactly what kind of risk allocation that you need for something like this, if it is something that you're getting into. And I told you exactly how to do that. Go into CoinGecko, find out what the ranking is, find out what the market cap is. If it's a low cap, put a smaller allocation in there. None of it's financial advice, guys, but putting a high allocation into something that's high risk, that high risk thing's got a less probability of running, holding, and being sustainable. So think about diversification. So Orai Chain. Orai Chain has just broken through a major resistance. This major resistance is set at $3.10. So if we pull back here, we've got 2 things to hold back on. You've got your $3.10, or your $3.18, should I say? Stick that in there. You've got your $3.18, and then you've got your 50 and you've got your 20 period moving average, which is just crossing over now. So aim of the game, guys, you need to be above the 200 moving average. That 200 moving average, when you're below, we know that that's going to act as resistance. That's sat at $6.07 at the moment. So we've got a resistance here sat at $4.03, and then you've got the big resistance at $6.60. When you see an acceleration, guys, price needs to be above the 200, and then you'll start seeing the faster pace moving averages, the 50 and the 20, cross above, creating that traffic light system where you've got the 20 at the top, you've got the yellow, which is the 50 in the middle, and you've got the green at the bottom, holding the strong support, confirming that we're bullish. Gala, you can see, well, on these altcoins, guys, we're below the 200 daily moving average. When you look at Bitcoin, you can see we're above the 200 moving average. That's signaling that Bitcoin is front running the market. Bitcoin's got the biggest market cap. Bitcoin gives people confidence within the crypto market when they want risk, but they don't want too much risk. When they don't want to be too on risk within the crypto market, they go into Bitcoin. You can see that Bitcoin's run. So Gala next, got resistance. Sat up here, guys, 0.02671. We've also got a resistance here sat at 0.01920 to come over, and you can see clues look left. This was a shelf here, then that acted as resistance, resistance again. So we know that that's the area to break through. 0.01814, 0.01814. There's a good chance. There's a good chance that we could hold this level of support because, as you see here, guys, we're coming to an oversold position. If we come to this oversold position, we hold this 50 and hold the 20. It's giving double confluence and then a chance that we can push up. Aim of the game, guys, is to take out this higher high. This higher high sat at 0.01822, like I say, which is this big resistance level. That's Gala. Rio next. Got Rio. Rio's looking a little bit better because, well, we've tested the high. We haven't breached the high. So we're putting in a little bit of a left shoulder here. You're putting in a little bit of a head. You've got your neckline up here, guys. Then you're putting in a little bit of a right shoulder. If we break this neckline, regardless, guys, that's going to be bullish because this neckline is previous resistance. This neckline tells us one thing. This was a lower high. We put in a lower low. Price come back up, tested this lower high, which is signaling something's changing. Something's changing, guys, and the bears have managed to try and test this previous lower high. And the aim of the game, guys, when you break trend, you break the lower high, you come back, you test that as support, and then you make a move to the upside. That's a reversal pattern, guys. When you put in a low, you just put in another low, you come back, you test a neckline, and there's a higher probability of this coming back, putting in a higher low, right shoulder, bam. They're high probability moves, guys. So we're currently sitting on Gala at 0.2693. Potentially could pull back all the way to 0.2247. Crypto.com. So crypto.com, guys, currently sitting at 0.09139. How do you play this thing? Because you've got support here and you've got a big support band at 0.07193. However, that's the bottom of the support from where price action is now. That is a drop of 20%. It's a difficult one to play, this one, guys, because you've got your 50, you've got your 20. They're going to be your support. If you're going to use risk management, where are you shooting for? If that's your support, shooting for resistance. You can protect yourself below the low. Guys, the further this pulls back, and the higher indication that this is going to hold as support, the lower you can bring your entry down, tighter you can have your stops. So that would be a 4.28 risk to reward if it pulled back. If you took it from where price action is now, that would be a 1.76 risk to reward. So just waiting, guys, for a day, waiting for a couple of days, waiting for it to pull back, that reduces how much you're risking and it increases how much you're gaining. So I'm not too interested in that at the moment, guys. It is in the midway point. I am undecided about this, whether it will hold the 50, whether it will hold the 20. BE chain next, exactly the same thing, guys. You can stick the indicators on. We're coming back from an overbought position at resistance, guys. It's done exactly the same thing. There's the neckline at resistance. That is coming back now. We need it to hold these moving averages. As this pulls back into an oversold region, then we can make another move to the upside. So it is a bit of a waiting game at the moment, guys, but you can see one thing. They're coming back and they're testing the lower highs. It is really significant that they come back and test these lower highs, guys, because one thing that we do is we can add in a kill zone. And I've talked about the kill zone, area of interest, whatever it is that you want to call it, to give us an indication of how strong a trend is and whether a trend's weakening. So the way that we measure it, you can see we've put a lower high here, you've put in a lower low, you've put in a lower high. So we're taking the lower low to the lower high and we're creating an area. This is our area of interest. Call it your kill zone, call it your area of interest. But ultimately, Once you've done this, guys, you've put a box from the lower high to the previous lower low, then that is signaling one thing. Once we break this, guys, that is a trend reversal. You break it, you confirm that previous resistance, 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 support, and then you're on your way, guys. Next resistance is going to be a 200 period moving average sat at 0.03479. So it's a patience game on that one, guys. We could pull back. If we pull back, hold this support base here. You've got triple confluence. That was resistance. You've got your 20, you've got your 50 to fall back on. Expect to get a bounce there. So if you get a bounce there, guys, that means that you can get it from where price action is now, 7.28% cheaper. So it is a patience game at the moment, guys. Am I looking to buy into these altcoins? Am I looking to trade these altcoins at the moment? Unfortunately, there's a couple of metrics I need to know to understand that we've got confirmation and high conviction that altcoins are the next to rally. So we look at ALU next. I've never done this one before, never seen this one before, but one thing you can see is it's creating something here. It's creating a bullish divergence, guys. It's quite a strong bullish divergence as well. If you just pull in the RSI, you can see the significance of this higher low on the RSI and the significance of this lower low on the chart. So you've got your 200 period at the bottom. Your 20 period at the bottom. You've got your 50 period above that. Now, I want to show you one thing. See this 200, guys? That's going to act as resistance. That's going to be a point to break. But that 200 also coincides with one thing. Coincides with this resistance base. So that's sat at 0.02927. Then the top of the resistance, guys, this lower high here, coincides with the 50. So you've got a lot of resistance to get through here. But once you've gone through these levels and these act as support, guys, then you've got a big move all the way up to the 200 moving average, which is a 77% move. So patience is the key, guys. I'm not interested under this level. I'm expecting a bounce because the bullish divergence is showing that the chart needs to catch up to what the indicator is telling us as far as buying and selling pressure is concerned. So we look at bullish divergence, we look at the impact of bullish divergences, and we see time and time again, you get one of these crazy bounces. But we do want to hold this 50. We do want to get through this resistance point before I'm interested in a loo. HashAI, never done this one again. This one looks nicer, guys, because we've broken the 50, we've broken the 20. 50 and 20 are about to cross. It's not a golden cross, guys. A golden cross is when the 200 crosses above the 50. However, this is significant because price action, guys, has broken through these levels with volume, and it's come back and it's tested this as support. That's what I was saying on the other cryptos we were just looking at. We want to break through, we want to come back, we want to test support. This previous resistance is now going to be support, guys. That is sitting at 0.0002601. You can see how it pulled back, how it acted as support at these levels. And they are lagging indicators, guys, but when you've got lots of people looking at a 50 period moving average, lots of people using that as a support base, guys, guess what? Lots of people are putting buy orders in at that 50 period. When lots of people put buy orders in, it creates an acceleration. And that's what happened here, guys. So we need this level to hold. That's going to be a strong support base. If we can come back and test this support again, that's going to give you such a good risk to reward because you know when you're wrong underneath the 20, underneath the 50, you know when you're right. And that gives you a 5.98 risk to reward. Next one's Beam, guys. We talked about Beam. We talked about the significance of this break. We talked about the significance of the retest on the 50 period moving average. Got the bounce, and I showed you an example of a trade, how you take the trade, how you take the close, and then how you'd protect yourself along the way. So you could move that up as price pushes up, but you can see we're about to put in. There was the previous resistance, 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 resistance. That's what you want to act as support. One thing I want to tell you guys, right? You've got support and you've got a resistance. You've got to build up a price action here. This is your resistance point. That's your resistance point. So a lot of people are looking at this level, and this is where the hype is, because this is where it's overbought and this is where it's got the most interest. People are buying at this resistance level. Now, flip your mindset, guys. This is a consistent line. This is a consistent horizontal line. You're buying at resistance, you're buying at overbought. If you break through, guys, what happens when you break through? You need to test what was previous resistance as support, and it happens time and time again, guys. So if you're coming back and testing this area as support, and then this has come back down into an oversold position, whilst this is now support, which was previous resistance and overbought, guys, it's exactly the same level. Flip your mindset. Don't worry about resistance. It comes back down and it hits support, and it's exactly the same area. It's exactly the same price. However, you've probably got about a 75% higher probability of the move going your way by it being support, by it carrying on the trend. Because remember, the trend is your friend till the bend at the end. So use it to your advantage. Right, we were talking about Cardano. We had a big Cardano video recently with a big panel of people that were really, really educated within the Cardano space. So I'll leave that video at the end, and you can go through and tell me what you think of that. Right, so we're bulk between a load of moving averages. We're bulk between support, we're bulk between resistance. So this thing here is trying to make a move. And we talk about the tug of war. This is a tug of war between the bulls and the bears at support and at resistance. And it's creating a bit of a channel. If you look left, we can see that this is the resistance point, guys. We've got a lot of resistance to get through. And we've also got the 200 period moving average sat at 77 cents. So that's going to be the area to break. Once this breaks, comes back down, this previous resistance, you expect to hold support. That's when I'm interested in these altcoins, guys. So that's Cardano. Let me just have a quick look at the macro, guys. So we know exactly what needs to happen on Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to pull back. It needs to hold its 200 period moving average. Then it needs to take out this previous high, then continue its way, hopefully, guys, to all-time highs and beyond. And it's going to give us a strong clue when Bitcoin does run that people have got confidence in on-risk assets and they rotate from Bitcoin, from dollars, from whatever it is within the markets, the stock markets, whatever, and they can go into on-risk assets that are going to give them higher returns over a shorter period of time. Next thing's the market cap, guys. It's gone all the way to 64.86%, and it did actually top out here so far at 64.99%. This is the name of the game, guys. How far is dominance going to go? How high can dominance actually go? Because you look at Ethereum, you look at Solana, you look at all of these top layer ones, guys, and then you go back in time into 2021. And I can remember the hype with 2021. I can remember how much Solana ran. I can remember how much AVAX run. I can remember how much BNB run. All of these top layer ones, guys, collectively, you put the market cap together now, and it was either the same or not as big as what the market cap was for them in 2021. They've had lots of growth, they've had lots of development, they've had lots of transactional value increased. More people are using them. The price is less, guys. Does it make sense? Everybody's saying that alt season's finished, guys, and I haven't got a crystal ball and I don't know what happens, but all I know is when you look at Bitcoin dominance, when it's this high, when you look at what happened previously, when it was this high, that was the 2017 alt, that was the 2021 alt season. This was the 2017 alt season. So we're in this channel, we're at the top of this channel. This thing's overextended. It's been in an ascending channel now, guys, an ascending wedge for 3 years. This thing's bearish. This thing needs to drop hard. When this thing drops hard, that's alt season 2025. We're not there yet, guys. There's a few things that need to happen. It could be quantitative easing, it could be stimulus, lots of different metrics that could put a catalyst behind there, guys. It could be a Trump tweet, it could be anything. And I tell you one thing, whatever it is, it's probably something that most people are not going to be aware of. It's going to catch people off guard. Right, the next thing is the crypto total market cap. One thing, positive thing, we've had a break of trend. We've had a break of trend, and this is the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum. So it's collectively all the altcoins together outside of the big two. You say big two, guys. Is Ethereum one of the big two anymore? So it's the big one now. It's the big daddy Bitcoin, and then you've got Ethereum, XRP. So we're at resistance here, guys. We've got resistance sat at 856.94 billion on total 3. Once we get past the 200 moving average, that's going to signal strength, and that's going to signal that we're going to push up to this next resistance point, which is sat at 1.01 trillion. That 1 trillion, guys, that's psychological. 1 trillion will that act as resistance as far as the altcoins collectively are concerned. This is just a chart of a representation of collective altcoins, guys. So it doesn't carry too much significance as far as support and resistance are concerned. When altcoins will run hard. When they run hard, guys, total 3 is just going to run hard with it. The DXY's dropped this strong resistance. It's acting this strong support here, guys, which was strong support going all the way back here, all the way back here, all the way back here, is now acting as resistance. You don't understand how strong this is, guys, because if we do get this weak dollar, we do get another move to the downside. Remember, get that down. Another move to the downside would signal a shift between sentiment. It would signal a shift between momentum, and it sends a shift between risk. So the risk curve would get higher. People would come out of dollars. People would put it into altcoins. Altcoin market would go up. Market cap would go up. Total 3 would go up. The more people that have conviction, the more people that have confidence in high risk altcoins, guys, the more the market cap goes up and the bigger the catalyst that we get. We need to have a bag of people that are holding for a period of time, guys. I always say diamond hands to zero. If you're expecting to hold your altcoins for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's going to be a recipe for disaster, guys. Now, I've learned lessons along the way. I've had altcoins that have pretty much lost 99.5% of their value during the alt season. I've been battered during the alt season. I've made good moves. I've made bad moves, but I've learned along the way, guys. So remember, wait for the catalyst. It is important. So USDT dominance, you can see this is the dominance of the US dollar tether within the whole of the crypto market cap. And you can see one thing, guys, we're putting in lower lows, lower highs, we're pulling back. And the further down this thing goes, again, the better for altcoins. And the next thing, guys, it's going to be Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is going to be our biggest signal because we've broken trend from this descending wedge, broken trend, and now we need to take out the 50 period moving average. Then we can come and test the 200. Once we test the 200, that coincides with one thing, this lower high. So you're going to have double confluence because you're going to have the lower high there, and you're going to have the 200 moving average. So that's going to be a resistance, guys. But that is an actual, from where price action is now, a move of 56% to the upside. So that's 56% to the upside, but that's 56% to the upside against its Bitcoin pair. So if Bitcoin run 100%, then Ethereum would run 56% more than that 100%. So it's not against the dollar pair, it's against the Bitcoin pair. That's pretty much it for the macro. So the VIX, the volatility index, this shows us the strength or the volatility of the S&P and the confidence of people within the S&P. And we had this big spike to the upside, which created negative sentiment. And on the back of that, guys, S&P dropped hard. It's starting to recover. Where's it starting to recover? It's about to hit its resistance level, 5,769, 200 daily moving average. So getting above that's going to be strong for the crypto market. But if we just get back onto the altcoins now, did we do Mina? Mina, it's holding its 200, it's holding the 50, it's holding the 20. Use that as your support base. You've got a big resistance level set up here. You've got the lower high, which is 0.2874. That's going to be a strong one to break above. But, guys, if we do hold this 50 as support, 200 is 93% to the upside. So the downside from here, guys, if we come back and test the low, 22% to the downside. However, if you used your risk to reward tool, you come back down, you're holding this as support. If that holds as support and you're going and shooting for the 200 period moving average, look what kind of risk to reward you can get. If you're wrong, guys, you're wrong by a couple of quid, that's fine. If you get it right and you hold support of the 50 and 20, you could trail this all the way up, trail it all the way up until the trend reverses. You could stop yourself out of profits. Near next, look at this, guys. You look at Mina, then you look at Near. Charts are exactly the same. So how do you play this? Play it exactly the same, guys. You're holding the 50. The 50 is holding support. You've got your 20, which is going to come up. That's going to act as double confluence. You're going to get double support. You've got your 200 sat all the way up here at $4.23. You've got your resistance point here. Why is that your resistance point, guys? That's your lower high. Remember, kill zone, kill zone. Let's add some kill zones in. Come in, you put in a lower low. You put in a lower low, you put in a lower high. There's your kill zone. When do we know? When trends reversed. We know when trends reverse. When you're coming up, you're testing the neckline. Once you break the neckline, hold the neckline as support. That means that you've taken out the lower high, you've put in a higher high, you've come back down, you've put in a higher low. Guys, higher highs and higher lows signal bullish, lower highs and lower lows signal bearish. So you're waiting here. It's a waiting game. That is going to be a strong resistance. I want to break that. I want to hold that support. That's sat between $3 and $3.08. Jasmy coin next. We've been looking at Jasmy coin, guys. Jasmy coin broke through this resistance point. That resistance point is now a new support. Jasmy coin needs to hold this level, guys. The 50 period moving average is starting to move up. The 20 period moving average is going to hold support. We've got the support base sat here between 0.01488 and the top of the support base 0.01669. So we've talked about Jasmy coin in the last few videos, guys. This thing just needs to hold this level, needs to hold this support base. Ultimately, the aim of the game, guys, once we break this 200, that becomes support, then you're on your way. I'm going to do an update on Jasmy coin very soon, guys, possibly today, possibly tomorrow, but we've got a bit of a Jasmy army here, so I'll keep you updated on that. Right, we've got a bit of a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders playing out here, guys. There's the left shoulder. You've got your neckline up here. Remember, kill zone, kill zone, kill zone. We'll add in our kill zone. So there's your lower, where is it? There's your lower high. that lower low, there's your lower high, there's your kill zone. You come back, you've tested the neckline. We need to break through the neckline. Once you break through the neckline, guys, that's going to carry some weight because you've got the 200 period moving average. So if we break the neckline, that's not only signaling one thing, it's showing there's a strong chance that this 200 is going to hold as support. And when we're above the 200, we're bullish. So that's an inverse head and shoulders, guys. Why does it carry weight? Because if this was a continuation at this point here, you'd probably put in a lower high, then you come back down and you put in a lower low. So that's signaling shift because we've come up, tested the neckline, showing that the bulls have got more strength than what the bears actually thought. Tia next. So Tia is looking quite good, actually, guys. Tia is coming back. It's holding a Lux Algo support sat at $2.50. So $2.50 is a psychological number. $2.50, guys, also is this strong support base. Resistance, resistance, support, resistance, until it broke through. We expect this to hold support. So the next level, guys, you've got your 50 period. 50 period sat at $2.88, but your next major resistance sat all the way up here at $3.54. So that's a move from where price action is now. 44. But we do need to look at the macro, guys, and we need to understand the macro because that's going to give the sentiment and that's going to tell us when the drive of altcoins is going to be. So as far as we looked at Bitcoin's concerned, Bitcoin does need to pull back. That means potentially over the weekend that we could get a little bit of red, guys, a little bit of red. As long as it's not a lot of red, as long as we hold higher lows, then going into next week, I think it'll be positive. Ethereum, the second biggest market cap within the whole of crypto, guys. This thing has been absolutely battered. Everybody, guys, Trump's advisors, lots of people, institutions, investors, a lot of people, guys, are buying up Ethereum and Ethereum related projects. So why is this thing being battered? Why? First things first, guys, we've got a trend line. We're putting in lower highs, we're putting in lower lows. Second thing, we've broke the trend line for the first time. Where is the first resistance point? It's the 50 period moving average. And look how price reacts to the 50 period moving average. Below, below, below. You come up, you test it as support, guys. Now it is a support. So that is signaling a shift. Next resistance point for Ethereum, it's going to be up here, guys, 25.86. The significance of this, guys, is we were holding higher lows, higher lows, higher lows all the way until we dropped this level, started putting in lower lows and lower highs. We need to regain this level here and regain the 38.2% retracement of this previous all-time high for Ethereum. That is sat at, guys, $2,380. What is the Ethereum catalyst going to be? It feels like there's going to be one. Right, here's your kill zone again. This is ICP. This is the daily on ICP. We're dropping the kill zone, guys. There's the lower high. That's signaling a bit of weakness here. So we've got a support base for $4.45. Top of the support base, $4.81. Monitor this, guys. You can stick a momentum line on there. You can see it looks like we're dropping trend. See, it looks like we're dropping trends. We need to hold this base here at $4.83. Does it mean that we're going to fall through? It doesn't. See how the candle performs by the end of the day. We've got 14 hours left. If we hold this level of support, get a bit of a push, test the 50 period moving average, things will look a little bit better, guys, because ultimately you take out the 50, hold this level, previous resistance as support, take out the lower high, then you're well on your way. Well on your way. It's all about reversing trend, guys. But these altcoins, they're putting in lower highs, lower lows, the majority of them anyway. So it's all about reversing trend. But we've got these signals, we've got these indications, we've added in our kill zone. We know that the altcoins are coming back and they're testing the necklines, they're testing the lower lows. And for that to happen, guys, the bulls have got more strength than what they were when they were putting in lower highs and lower lows. So the fight is actually happening now, but we are waiting for sentiment, we're waiting for catalysts, we're waiting for fundamental news. And we're really waiting for that drive, guys, because when it does run, it's going to run hard. When it runs hard, if you haven't got your positions in, and this is from a psychological perspective, if they're not in and your positions aren't in at the time that it pumps, you're going to be chasing your tail and you're going to be buying pumps because sometimes these things, they run fast. When they pull back, they'll pull back hard. Even if you've got limit orders, guys, when they pull back hard, they wick so hard that the buy orders get eaten up and eaten up and eaten up. Sometimes your limit orders don't get hit, especially if you're talking about cryptocurrencies on exchanges where they're low liquidity. When you think of an exchange that's got low liquidity, that means that they haven't got as much in circulation, they haven't got much supply. That means when the buy orders get hit and the limit orders get hit, there's less limit orders that are going to get hit because there's less supply on the actual exchange itself. So when you've got a low cap, guys, just be careful. When you've got a low cap and you're adding leverage on that, that has got a compound effect, guys. That is the way to get wrecked. So just be careful with that. Right, DCD. What is this? DCD. Never heard of this one before. It's in no man's land at the moment, guys. I'm not interested in this. You can see this support base is held twice. Once there, you've got a big wick. These big wicks signal strength. So the big wicks push price above the 20 period moving average. We've held the 20 period moving average. We've moved above the 50 period moving average, and you've got these now to fall back on. However, you're in the middle of no man's land. If you put a risk to reward tool on from where you are now, where you're shooting for, protect yourself below the 50, you're shooting for the previous high, 1-to-1 risk to reward. Is it worth it? 100% not. OGY, see how these things act as resistance when they hit the 200 moving average. So imagine the 200 moving average, guys. It is a lagging indicator of 200 candles averaged out over a period of time. But look how price reacts. This wick here, guys, that means that the bulls pushed price all the way to this 200 moving average. Then this 200 moving average, remember all the eyes on the chart looking at the 200 moving average. This is the bears in this case. They're saying, this is where there's going to be resistance. This is where there's going to be a sell wall. This is where we're putting our sell orders. What happens on the back of that, guys? We got pushed back all the way back down. That's because there's such a high allocation of sell orders at this level. If you go back in time, guys, what happens? 200 moving average, sell order, sell order, sell order. Guys, sell order, sell order. When you're above it, it will act as strong support. When you're below it, it will act as strong resistance. So remember that. That's the aim of the game, to get above that. Litecoin next. So Litecoin potentially could be all right once it comes back and tests the 50 period, because once it tests the 50 period, it gives you one thing, gives you wiggle room, gives you a protection zone. Even if you're shooting for the 200 and it's a little trade, guys, that's a 3.76 risk to reward. If you took it from where price action is now, that brings it down to a 1.44 risk to reward. So just waiting, having patience, hitting support, waiting for indicators to pull back gives you that advantage. It gives you that edge that you're holding support. You've reduced your risk, you've increased your reward. Happy days. Turbo next, guys, 200. It is a lagging indicator, and people keep telling you time and time and time and time again it's a lagging indicator, but carries weight behind it. Resistance, resistance. We need this to flip above. We need this to act as support. That level sat at 0.006049 on Turbo. Thing is with this thing, guys, once you've got moving averages that are so far away from price action, if it comes back and retests it, that's quite a distance to the downside. So you've got to be careful with ones where they're in a little bit of no man's land, guys, between support and resistance, or they're at resistance trying to break through support, because this is what I was talking about earlier on in the video, guys. When you're at resistance here, and people are buying at this level here, when you're overbought here, people are buying, you're likely to pull back. You're likely to pull back, guys. At resistance, you're likely to pull back. So if you've taken something at resistance and you're likely to pull back, what's that going to do? It's going to put you in a loss straight away, guys. You're in a loss straight away. You're chasing your tail straight away. What's to say it's not going to do that? Put in a lower high, continuation to the downside, because that's resistance. It needs to be treated as resistance. Now, remember, you break through the 200. You've got velocity to break through the 200. Once you have broken through something, a previous resistance, it needs to come back, hold support. It's exactly the same level. Your stochastic would be oversold, guys, not overbought, and you would be at support and not resistance. So patience is key. Myria next. See, this one could be a good one. You've got a couple of key levels here. You've got this key level here. That was the previous resistance point. We broke through there. That's going to act as your support, 0.00983. Then you've got your next resistance point all the way up here at 0.001255. How can you play this? Two ways. Is it going to come back and test this as support? If it comes back and tests this as support and it holds it as support, you can stick in your risk to reward tool. There's your high. You're protecting yourself below this resistance, which is flipped support. That's an RS flip. Then if price actually comes down, you're out with a limited amount of capital at risk. However, you've also got this, guys. You've got your 50 and you've got your 20 to fall back on. So if you use that as your support base, what would that do to your risk to reward? 1.42. Would I be interested in that? No. So that's a bit of a tricky one, guys, because the chances are it could come back. It could test the 50. It could test the 20, or it could hold this as support. We're overbought at the moment, guys, so it hasn't got much wiggle room. By the time this comes down, we're nearly at this support base here. So it's showing me there's a strong indication we could come down further. So careful on that one, patience on that one. Exactly the same here, guys. This is coming down. It needs to test this previous lower high as support. That's coinciding with the 20. That's coinciding with the 50. See how far this thing pulls back when the indicator comes back to oversold. If it holds these levels, you know exactly where to protect yourself time and time again, guys. Protect yourself below the moving averages. That's your key support. Shooting for the previous high or the previous resistance level. Increase your risk to reward. Moonriver next. These things look exactly the same, guys. You see what I mean as far as the altcoins are concerned? They're all trading the same patterns. The high risk altcoins, they're all trading the same patterns. They're waiting for a move. They're waiting for a catalyst. They're waiting for these guys to send a signal. Bitcoin, dominance, total 3, dollar. They're waiting for these guys to send a signal. Okay, so that was Moonriver. Next, Cardano. Look at this, 200 moving average, resistance. This needs to flip as support before we're interested. Once it's flipped support, guys, then you know where to protect yourself. This looks like it needs to pull back, guys. That's resistance. Treat it as resistance. There's your next close of structure. Previous resistance, broke through support, comes back down. Expect that to hold support. By the time it gets there, the 20, the 50 would act as complements on top of that. So I'm expecting a pullback on that, guys, on Cardano. And Flux, I mean, when you do pull back, guys, it's not a bad thing. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. But what you're doing is you're getting a lower entry, you're getting a lower risk, you're getting a better reward. So patience is key. There is thousands, there's millions of cryptocurrencies out there, guys. Some of them will be at support, some will be at resistance, some will be in the middle. You can look and you can identify within a 24-hour market what is your best chance and highest probability move with the lowest amount of risk at the lowest amount of risk at play and the biggest amount of reward, guys. You can look at different cryptocurrencies to find out which one's got the best setup. When you look at these ones, that's strong. That was the previous lower high. It's tried to test that. It's tested the neckline. It's been rejected. It's been rejected. It's been rejected. Now we're coming back. Where we're going to come back to this previous, guys, resistance, which flipped support. Expect that next to be your next support base. Also, you got your 20, your 50 to fall back on. That's triple confluence. Guys, remember, head and shoulders. How can you measure a head and shoulders, guys? How can you measure a breakout of a head and shoulders? Easy. I'll show you. And it happens time and time again, guys. And I want you to do this on your charts and see how many times this plays out. You've got a neckline here. You've got a right shoulder, a left shoulder, sorry. You've got a head. You've got a right shoulder once it's created. Once you've broken the neckline, guys, what you do is you measure tip of the head to the neckline, and then you put that on the break, then that is your targets, guys. And when you do it time and time again, and you look at how often this thing plays out, you'll be surprised, guys. When you look at where it takes you, guys, that previous lower high, that was the previous lower high. That's your resistance. That's what Luxalgo is telling us is resistance. That's where your 200 moving average is, guys. That is how you measure a breakout of a head and shoulders. Look at that. Right, that's about it from me for now, guys. Get yourself in the Discord group. Have your say what I'm covering next. Do you want more altcoin marathons? Do you want me to cover these in depth at the weekend? If you do, I could be your guy for trading cryptocurrency at the weekend for showing you exactly how your altcoins are performing at any given time. And we can do this together because I'm going to bring new tips, new tricks, new tools, new indicators, and I'm going to train you guys along the way. So a bit of a long one for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the marathon. See you in the next one.